Welcome to Fox Creek's Reserve Shiraz Masterclass. I'm Scott Zerner, Chief Winemaker at Fox Creek. I've been here since 2005 and have had the, privilege to be the custodian of Reserve Shiraz for the last 14 years. Thanks for coming along today, and we'll show you a selection of fantastic Reserve Shiraz which really demonstrate the impact of the different vintages on our wines. So what does it mean to be Reserve Shiraz? Well, that question can be simply defined as it's a Shiraz made up of the best base wine components that we have sitting here in our barrel hall in each particular vintage. But it is actually a little bit more than that. The components that make up our Reserve Shiraz conform to our no compromise policy on quality. Its quality-based practices are implemented all the way from pruning all the way through to the bottle and at every stage in between. The whole process takes about 36 months of hard work and vigilance by everyone at every stage of the process. Another important point is that every single vintage is different. Mother Nature throws us a curveball every single vintage with the weather conditions that we have to contend with. That has a huge impact on the wines that are produced in that vintage and the flavour and tannin profiles that they have. We choose to celebrate these differences rather than smother them into some form of commercial conformity. All of the vineyard selections which we include in our Reserve Shiraz are all a product of us tasting the grapes as we walk up and down the vine rows during the approach to harvest. Over the years, we've worked very hard with our viticulturalists in order to lift the quality of the fruit coming in off the vineyards into the winery. We have done a lot of trials with way the vines are pruned, way they're irrigated. We do some bunch thinning, we select parts of vineyard sections in order to ensure that we get some super premium fruit off the vineyards, which then comes through our state-of-the-art winery that we have here and allows us to produce some fantastic base wines which we can then mature in our barrel hall that you see here behind us. Over the years, we've constructed an oak program which allows us to match the right amount of oak and the right types of oak with the different vineyards in order to support whatever those vineyards need. And so at the moment, that comprises of approximately 35 different oak types that we use, because each different oak has a different job and a different impact on the final wine. The assembly of the final wine is bringing together all these components, from the work done in the vineyards to the work done in the winery, the work done through our oak program, and bringing all those components together to produce some fantastic components from which we can blend our Reserve Shiraz. It's not unusual for us to draw up to 40 or 50 samples out of these barrels in order to do the assembly blending for these particular wines. Often we'll come across barrels which look a little bit better, a little bit more balanced, a little bit more finessed than the other ones in the group, and we then mark that barrel down as being potential for Reserve Shiraz. Once we're ready to blend, we'll pick all those barrels out and take samples back to our lab, and on the bench we'll trial blend all of those components together. Just because they're good enough doesn't mean they're actually included in the blend. Sometimes the blend needs more of some component or less of others, depending on the impact that they have on the construction of the final blend. When we're doing that, we need to make sure that the blend is just right. We have to be fastidious about how we put it together and be absolute with the quality points which we're trying to achieve to make sure that we maintain the status that this wine has. It's been Langton's classified since it was first able to be, so it has a long and successful history on the show circuit as well, as you can see from some of the medals on the bottle. It's fantastic to be able to showcase these wines to you for the Reserve Masterclass. 6 vintages from 2005 through 2010. There's some fantastically contrasting conditions and some fantastic contrasting wines to go with them. Sit back, open a bottle and enjoy.